Hello and welcome to BlueTube, where we talk all things blue. And today is another roundup kind of video of the week. But before I talk about the games that happened this week, just a little fun fact for you. Today, as of recording this, the 10th of March of 2016, is the 111th birthday of Chelsea Football Club. So, happy birthday! But now, let's get on to the depressing part. So, of course, we played against Stoke City in the Premier League earlier this week. I predicted us to win this game, but we didn't. But to be fair, we did play pretty well in the beginning. Bertrand Traore got an incredible goal with his left foot, and Hiddink was resting a lot of our key players and kind of putting on a lot of defensive and quite lazy tactics. And what I mean by that is he didn't want the players to be running around a lot, because we wanted to preserve the fitness and their health for the game against PSG. And he didn't want to risk any injuries or anything like that, which is perfectly understandable because the PSG game is probably the biggest. In fact, it is the biggest game of our season. And let's talk about the PSG game, because I don't think you guys really want to listen to talk about the Stoke City game. We drew. It's a shame, meh. But this is the big game. As I said, the biggest game of our season. Definitely, in my opinion. And we lost the game 2-1. I'm sure you guys have watched the game. I'm sure you guys have, experienced the pain live. But, let's cool down a little bit, talk about a few key points of the game. And I have two things that I want to talk about. But I'm going to do it in a way where I'm going to go through the game and talk about them. So basically, the game started, the first 15 minutes, I'm sure you guys have watched it. It was quite pathetic from Chelsea, really. We didn't show up. We weren't pressing. We weren't defending. We weren't attacking. We weren't doing anything. And PSG got a well-deserved goal for that in the 16th minute. But since after they scored, Chelsea, something clicked in our side. We started to play. We started to run. And we started to play pretty well. And we were rewarded for that by scoring quite an incredible team goal. Quick one-touch passing, changing directions quickly, Diego Costa with a bit of skill and slipping it into the right-hand side of the goalkeeper. It was a very, very good team goal, and the signs were encouraging. It was 1-1 at halftime. It was 3-2 on aggregate. If he scored one more goal, it would be 3-3, and the game would go to extra time. And in fact, I predicted last week a 2-1 win to Chelsea and Chelsea to win on penalties. That didn't happen, of course. But at halftime, there was another thing that the media and the public and Chelsea fans especially are talking about, and it is Eden Hazard swapping shirts with Di Maria. And I'm sure you guys have watched the clip already or watched it live. But he did swap shirts with Di Maria. There's no doubting that. But the question is, what does that mean? And some people are saying, it's just sportsmanship. It's just respect. There's nothing. There's not a big deal. The media are blowing it out of proportion. It's not a big deal. While other people are saying, Hazard is a disgrace. He doesn't deserve to wear the Chelsea badge. He doesn't deserve to be playing for Chelsea. We should sell him in the summer. And I stand somewhere in the middle of that. And in my opinion, if this had been any other player other than Hazard, people wouldn't be making a big deal out of it. No one would be talking about it. No one would care. Because if this was Diego Costa swapping shirts with Ibrahimovic, let's say, people would just turn a blind eye to it. No one would really care. But the thing with Hazard is him specifically has been linked with leaving club, has been linked with PSG specifically, has been reported to be unsettled, has been reported to want to leave in the summer. There's been so much speculation surrounding his summer, his summer basically. And I think for him specifically, it was quite a stupid move for him. I have to say it bluntly, it was quite a stupid move to do that outside on the pitch at halftime. And I think he is feeling a little bit unsettled, and I understand that. I, for one, don't want him to leave. I still love him as a player, even after this, even after the horrendous season he's had this season. I still love him as a player. I would still love for Chelsea to keep him next season. But he is reported to be very unsettled at the club. He's been reported, there's been a lot of speculation, and that's understandable, completely understandable, because of the catastrophic drop that he's had from last season, from being the player of the season to scoring 0 goals in the Premier League in March. That kind of drop or downfall is quite unheard of in recent times. I can't remember a player who's gone through that, big of a contrast in 2 seasons. And it's understandable for him to feel unsettled. I don't blame him for that. But this shirt swapping, I think it was quite stupid of him. But at the same time, I think the media is blowing it out of proportion. I don't think a big deal should be made of this. But all I will say is that Hazard should not have done this. But I still love him as a player. That's all I have to say. And of course, then let's move on to the second half of the game, where Chelsea came out, we're playing well, we dominated, picked up right where we left off after the first half. And we were doing very, very well. The signs were very, very encouraging. It felt like the goal was coming. We even forced Trapp into making a double save, and we were attacking the goal. We were playing and moving the ball around very, very quickly, being very, very creative, quick on the counter attack. Things were very, very good. And out of nowhere, against the run of play, PSG comes out and gets the goal. Out of nowhere. And you could say, Cesar Azpilicueta is to blame for the goal. If you guys have watched the goal, you guys will see that he kind of fell asleep for a few seconds, which allowed Lucas Moura to run past him, whipping the ball. A great cross, to be fair, to Ibrahimovic, who we all know how the story ends. And in fact, I've got an image right here of the goal itself. But the thing with Azpilicueta is he's such a good player. He's such a hard worker. I don't want to blame him for that. I don't think he deserves to be blamed for this game, because he worked very, very hard. And that's something that I'm going to talk about right now, actually. And since that goal went in, it became 2-1 to PSG, 4-2 on aggregate. They had more goals. They had more away goals than us. So we had to score 3 goals to overcome the deficit. We had to score 3 goals to not be knocked out of the competition. And we had 20 minutes left to do so. And you guys are thinking, this is hopeless. There's no chance. And the thing with Chelsea is, one of the reasons that I love Chelsea as a club so much is that the players always persevere. No matter what the odds are, no matter, how many goals we're down by, no matter how impossible it seems, we always try hard until the very end. We always have these leaders. In fact, I've got this photo here of the 2012 Champions League, which I think really, really epitomizes this. We had players like Cech, Drogba, Lampard, even players like Maluda or Kalu or Bosingwa, which were really, really missed for their leadership, the oomph that they bring onto the pitch, And the 2012, as I said, really epitomizes this, because we went against all odds, against very, very difficult teams, overturned huge deficits to come and win the Champions League. And that's the Chelsea that I love. That's one of the qualities of us as a club that I love so much. And it was incredibly sad to see against PSG that when Ibrahimovic scored that goal, everybody in the team, everybody on the pitch switched off in the Chelsea team. Actually, that's not fair to say. I see 3 players, Courtois, Ivanovic, Azpilicueta. Those 3 were the only players that kept trying, that put everything they had into it, that kept showing that they want to win this game, that kept showing. The thing is, 20 minutes, 3 goals seems impossible, but it is possible. It's football. Anything's possible. And, the thing is, even if we're down by 10 goals, let's say, it's a Champions League knockout game at home in front of your home fans, and they should try their best. And I feel like a huge problem, not just this game, but our entire season, has been that Chelsea lack winners, Chelsea lack leaders, Chelsea lack players who can persevere through games like this, who can inspire others. In fact, it didn't help to have John Terry sitting on the bench because he was injured. If he was on the pitch, maybe, Chelsea would have been different. Maybe he would have kept trying. Maybe he would have inspired everyone on the pitch to keep going and going and going, no matter what the odds were. But that didn't happen. Everyone switched off. And I think that's a huge problem with our squad. A huge problem, an understated problem. The thing with the current team, we've got these fantastic creative flair players like Hazard, Oscar, Pedro, Willian, Fabregas, who are very. I think Fabregas was decent, but actually he didn't show the urgency that the other players did. But these players who play this pretty football, they don't have that oomph in them. They don't have that warrior-like mentality that they have to play to win. They have to play until the whistle is blown to give their all to. These players like Drogba and Lampard are players that you can rely on to run, to keep running and running and running until their feet are bleeding. Until the whistle blows, they will keep running and running and running. Even if their leg gets chopped off, they'll keep running. And we don't have that kind of players anymore. And I think Mourinho put this pretty well earlier this season when he said that Chelsea lack serial champions. We lack serial winners. Players who know how to win. Warriors like Drogba or Lampard or Kalu, Malouda, Bosingwa, Cech. We lack that kind of breed of players. And that's really, really showing this season. I think that's been our biggest problem this season. And that's been the reason why we're at 10th place in the Premier League, the reason why Mourinho had to get sacked, the reason why we're knocked out of the Champions League in the round of 16, and just the reason why this season as a whole has been absolutely atrocious and really quite disgraceful as a club, I have to say. And it was a really, really sad thing to see as a Chelsea fan. As I said, one of the reasons that I love our club, Chelsea, so much is because they would always try and try and try, no matter what the odds are, no matter how many goals they're down by. You can always rely on us to keep trying and trying and trying and fighting and fighting and fighting. And we've demonstrated that in the past, especially in, of course, the 2012 Champions League. But not only that, in every single season in recent history, we've shown this. We've shown that warrior-like mentality, that kind of, we must win no matter what. We're going to keep running and running, passing, moving the ball around, keep playing until that final whistle is blown. But this was really incredibly saddening as a Chelsea fan to see, especially someone who's watched every game for the last 6 years. This was a huge contrast to the Chelsea that I know, the Chelsea that I love. And it was really a big moment of realization for me that this summer is absolutely crucial. We need to be looking for players who are leaders, who have the quality to keep running and running, who have the quality to inspire others. And especially if John Terry is to leave at the end of the season, which he is widely reported to do so, of course I want him to stay, obviously. But if he does leave, all we're left with is Ivanovic, who has that leader, kind of powerful warrior-like player. He's the last one of that generation of players that we used to have. And it's a huge transitional period for us. And we all expected Mourinho to be able to kind of pave the way for a new generation because he's the one who introduced this warrior-like generation in the first place. But, of course he's gone. And I think the manager, whoever it is, I think Antonio Conte is really reported to be coming in. But whoever comes in this summer has a huge job on their hands to reform our squad. And I'm not saying sell 6-7 players, bring in 6-7 players. I'm not saying that at all, because I think that'll be incredibly unhealthy for the club. We should be holding on to a lot of these players. But he needs to bring in winners. He needs to bring in champions, warriors. He needs to bring in leaders, who can keep playing and playing, inspiring players like Drogba, players like everybody in this picture right here. These are the type of players that we need, that we're missing, that we're desperately missing. And that's led to the catastrophe that is this season. And honestly, I think that is the biggest problem that we have right now. And as I said, that is the problem that's led to such a terrible season. And that is the biggest problem that the next manager faces, and it'll be a very, very tough job for him. But hopefully we can get out of this transitional period. We can get some more of these leaders coming into the club. And I really do hope John Terry does stay. But that's a topic for another video. But guys, that kind of sums it up for today. On the whole, quite a sad week for us. Very, very sad for me personally because of the reasons that I've just explained. But guys, yeah, that's the end of the video. I'm trying to keep these videos short. I think I have gone just over 10 minutes. But before I end, let me just say one more thing. In last week's video, I did say that I'm going to start a new series called Player Spotlight, where I go through each player in the squad and talk about them. And I didn't do so this week. And if you've been following me on Twitter, you'll know that I've been incredibly busy. And I do apologize. I know it's not a good enough excuse. I know that. But life has just kind of overtaken me. I will try my best to get that series started this week. So you guys have that to look forward to. But guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys next week, hopefully in the Player Spotlight video. But until then, as always, stay blue.